Captain Jake Morrison sat in his chair on the bridge of the exploration ship Frontier. The coffee in his cup had gone cold hours ago, but he did not care. His eyes stayed fixed on the screen in front of him. The message that had arrived 3 hours ago changed everything. Commander Lisa Adams had sent the message from the Outer Rim. Her voice sounded worried when she recorded it. "Jake, you need to see this. The humans are building something in the Kepler 442 system. Something big. Really big." Jake played the message again. Lisa had been his friend for 20 years. She never got scared, but now her voice shook when she spoke. The data she sent with the message made his stomach turn cold. The Galactic Council had been watching the humans for 50 years. Ever since they joined the galactic community, the humans had been quiet. They built normal ships. They followed the rules. They seemed harmless compared to the other species, but the scans from Kepler 442 showed something different. The humans had been working in secret. They had been building structures so large that the first scans looked like mistakes. "Sir," said Lieutenant Tim Foster from his station. "Admiral Peter Hayes wants to speak with you." "Emergency channel." Jake nodded. He had been expecting this call. Admiral Hayes ran Galactic Intelligence. If he was calling, it meant the Council knew about the human project. The Admiral's face appeared on the main screen. His gray hair looked messy, like he had been running his hands through it. His eyes were tired. "Jake, I need you to get to Council Station immediately. Drop everything else. We have a problem." "The humans?" Jake asked. "The humans," Hayes confirmed. "What they're building. It's not possible. At least, it shouldn't be possible." 2 days later, Jake stood in the council chamber. The massive room could hold representatives from all 47 species in the galaxy. Today, it was packed. Everyone wanted to hear about the human project. Dr. Amy Carter walked to the center of the room. She was the council's best expert on alien technology. Her job was to study new inventions and figure out how they worked. Today, she looked confused and frightened. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "what I'm about to show you will change how we think about space engineering." The lights dimmed. A hologram appeared above the center of the room. It showed the Kepler 442 system. 3 dead planets orbited a dying star. Nothing special. Nothing worth visiting. 6 months ago, this system was empty, Dr. Carter said. Today, it looks like this. The hologram changed. Now it showed massive structures floating in space. They were round like planets, but they glowed with energy. Strange shapes stuck out from their surfaces. They looked like weapons. The room went silent. Even the Zephyrians, who usually made noise with their breathing, were quiet. "Each of these structures is the size of a small planet," Dr. Carter continued. "They're made of metals we've never seen before. They produce energy readings that break our measuring tools." Ambassador Veltar from the Zephyrian Empire raised one of his 4 arms. "Dr. Carter, are you saying the humans built artificial planets?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," she replied. "But it's worse than that. These aren't just big space stations. Look at this." The hologram zoomed in on one of the structures. Now they could see details. Massive engines attached to the bottom. Weapon arrays bigger than battleships. Defensive shields that covered the entire surface. "They're not just planets," Dr. Carter said. "They're warships. Planet-sized warships." The room erupted in noise. Representatives from different species started talking at once. Some sounded scared. Others sounded angry. A few sounded impressed. Admiral Hayes stood up. His voice cut through the noise. "Order! We need order!" The room slowly got quiet. "The question," Hayes continued, "is what do we do about it? No species in galactic history has ever built anything this large. The humans have created weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Jake looked around the room. He saw fear in many faces. The Altarians were known for their advanced technology, but even they looked worried. The Krelans were the galaxy's greatest warriors, but they seemed nervous. How many of these planet ships have they built? Asked the Altarian delegate. Dr. Carter checked her notes. Our long-range scans show at least 12 under construction, maybe more. The humans have been working on this project for years. 12, whispered someone in the back of the room. Jake felt cold. One planet-sized warship was scary enough. 12 of them could threaten the entire galaxy. There's more, Dr. Carter said. The energy signatures suggest these ships can move. They're not just floating weapons platforms. They're mobile. The room went dead silent again. A mobile planet was beyond anything anyone had imagined. How fast can they move? Hayes asked. We don't know, Dr. Carter admitted. But the engine systems suggest they can travel between star systems. A planet that can move to different worlds. It changes everything. Jake thought about the implications. If humans could move planets, they could attack anywhere. They could defend from anywhere. Traditional space warfare meant nothing against enemies who brought entire worlds to battle. What do the humans say about this? Asked the Krelian War. Chief, that's the problem, Hayes replied. They're not saying anything. They won't answer our communications. They won't explain what they're building. They just keep working. Dr. Carter brought up another image. This one showed human ships flying around the planet-sized structures. The ships looked like tiny insects next to the massive constructions. Based on the traffic patterns, we estimate 50,000 humans are working on each project. That's 600,000 people total. This isn't some secret government program. This is a coordinated effort by human civilization. Jake stared at the images. He had served with humans before. They were good engineers, but this was beyond anything he thought possible. How had they developed such advanced technology in secret? What's our response? Asked the Zephyrian ambassador. Admiral Hayes looked tired. We're going to send a diplomatic mission. We need to know what the humans are planning. Are these weapons for defense? For conquest? Or something else? And if they refuse to talk? Asked the Krelian. Hayes was quiet for a long moment. Then we might have to consider other options. Jake knew what that meant. The Galactic Council had never fought a war against humans before. But 12 planet-sized warships might force them to try. As the meeting ended, Jake stayed in his seat. He looked at the hologram still floating above the room. The human planet ships looked powerful and dangerous. But they also looked like something else. They looked like the future, and the galaxy was not ready for it. Commander Rick Torres checked his equipment one more time. The stealth ship Shadow was the most advanced reconnaissance vessel in the Galactic Council fleet. Its job was to watch enemies without being seen. Today, it would spy on humans. Are we ready? Rick asked his team. All systems green, replied his pilot, Lieutenant Nancy Wells. The stealth field is active. We're invisible to their scanners. Rick nodded. The mission was simple but dangerous. Get close to the human construction sites. Take pictures, record data. Don't get caught. If the humans detected them, it could start a war. The Shadow moved slowly through space toward the Kepler 442 system. Rick watched the screens as they got closer. The human planet ships grew larger and larger. When they were still 1,000,000 kilometers away, the structures filled the entire view. My God, whispered Ensign Carlos Martinez, the ship's sensor operator. They're huge. Rick had seen the hologram at the council meeting, but seeing the real thing was different. The planet ships were not just big. They were massive beyond understanding. Each one was the size of Earth's moon, but they move through space like normal ships. "Take us closer," Rick ordered, "but stay hidden." As they approached, Rick could see details that the long-range scans had missed. The surface of each planet ship was covered with structures, cities, factories, weapon systems. It looked like entire civilizations lived on these moving worlds. "Commander," Carlos said, "I'm picking up energy readings from the surface. These things are not just ships. They're alive." "What do you mean, alive?" Rick asked. "There are power grids, transportation systems, life support for millions of people. These aren't just weapons. They're homes." Rick stared at the nearest planet ship. Lights moved across its surface like a living city. Ships flew in and out of massive docking bays. He could see construction crews working on the hull. How many people live on one of these things? He asked. Carlos worked at his console. "Based on the energy patterns, maybe 50 million per ship. These are flying worlds, Commander, complete worlds." The shadow moved around the planet ship, staying hidden in its shadow. Rick took pictures of everything. The engines were the size of mountains. The weapon systems looked like they could destroy entire fleets. The defensive shields shimmered with energy. "Commander," Nancy said from the pilot's seat, "I'm getting a message. It's on a hidden channel." "From who?" It's from inside the human ship. Someone wants to talk." Rick felt cold. Had they been discovered? Were the humans about to attack? The message came through on a secure channel. A woman's voice, speaking quietly. "Council ship, this is Engineer Katie Walsh. I'm human, but I work for Galactic Intelligence. I have information you need." Rick knew the name. Katie Walsh was a deep cover agent. She had been living among humans for 5 years, pretending to be a normal engineer. If she was breaking cover, the situation was serious. "Katie, this is Commander Torres. What do you have?" "I'm working on the construction crew for Planet Ship 7. You need to know what you're really looking at. These aren't just big ships. They're something completely new." Rick waited. The channel stayed quiet for a moment. "The humans didn't build these ships," Katie continued. "They built these planets. They took dead worlds and turned them into spaceships. Complete worlds that can travel between stars." "That's impossible," Rick said. "You can't make a planet into a spaceship." "That's what I thought too. But I've been working here for 6 months. I've seen how they do it. They hollow out the planet. They replace the core with engines and power systems. They add weapons and shields to the surface. They turn the entire world into a mobile fortress." Rick looked at the planet ship again. Now he understood what he was seeing. This wasn't a ship built to look like a planet. It was a real planet that had been turned into a ship. "How many people does it take to do this?" he asked. 50,000 engineers per ship. "But here's the scary part, Commander. This isn't a government project. 12 different human colonies are each building their own planet ship. They're working together, but they're not working for any government. They're just doing it." Rick felt sick. One government building superweapons was bad enough. But 12 separate groups building planet ships? That was chaos. "What's their plan?" he asked. "That's the thing," Katie said. "They don't want to conquer anyone. They want to leave." "Leave?" "Each planet ship is designed to carry 50 million people to a new galaxy. They're not building weapons for war. They're building homes for exploration. They want to colonize Andromeda." Rick stared at the massive structure in front of him. A ship big enough to carry 50 million people to another galaxy. The technology required was beyond anything he had imagined. "How long until they're finished?" he asked. "Planet Ship 1 launches in 6 months. The others will follow over the next 2 years. Commander, in 3 years, there will be 12 human worlds flying through space toward Andromeda. The communication ended. Rick sat in his chair, trying to understand what he had learned. The humans weren't building weapons for conquest. They were building homes for exploration. But the result was the same. They had created the most powerful ships in the galaxy. "Commander," Carlos said, "I'm picking up movement. One of the planet ships is starting to move." Rick looked at the screen. The nearest planet ship's engines were glowing brighter. Slowly, impossibly, the massive world began to turn. "It's doing a test flight," Nancy said. "A planet is doing a test flight." They watched as the planet ship rotated in space. Its engines fired in perfect coordination. The massive world moved like a normal ship, but it was 1,000,000 times bigger than any ship Rick had ever seen. "Take us back," Rick ordered. "The Council needs to know what we've learned." As the shadow flew away from the human construction sites, Rick thought about the implications. 12 planet ships, each one carrying 50 million people. Each one armed with weapons that could destroy fleets. Each one heading to a different galaxy. The humans weren't just building impossible ships. They were changing what it meant to be a spacefaring species. Instead of colonizing planets, they were turning planets into colony ships. 3 days later, Rick stood in the council chamber again. The same representatives who had been shocked by the first report now looked terrified by his update. "They're not weapons," he explained. "They're vehicles. The humans are planning to send 600 million people to colonize Andromeda. Each planet ship is a complete world with everything needed for a new civilization." The Zephyrian ambassador made a sound that meant confusion in his language. "They're leaving our galaxy?" "Not all of them," Rick replied. "Just the ones who want to explore. But they're taking their technology with them. And they're proving that planet-sized ships are possible." Admiral Hayes looked older than he had a week ago. The balance of power in the galaxy has changed. If humans can build planet ships, they can build anything. No species can match this level of technology. Rick nodded. He had seen the construction sites. The humans were not just advanced. They were so far ahead of everyone else that it was like comparing stone tools to starships. "What do we do?" asked the Altarian delegate. "We learn," Hayes replied. "We adapt, and we hope the humans stay friendly." Rick looked around the room. Every species in the galaxy was now second class compared to the humans. The age of human dominance had begun, and it had started with 12 impossible ships that used to be planets. Dr. Ben Rodriguez walked into the council chamber with his hands shaking. For 3 years, he had worked on the Human Planet Ship project. Now he was about to tell the galaxy's leaders everything he knew. Admiral Hayes met him at the door. "Are you sure about this, Ben? Once you share this information, there's no going back." Ben nodded. "The galaxy needs to know what we built. It's beyond anything anyone imagined. Even us." Ben had been one of the lead engineers on Planet Ship 3. He knew every detail of how the impossible ships worked. When he decided to leave the project, the human government let him go. They were confident that no other species could build what they had built. They were right. The council chamber was packed again. Representatives from every species wanted to hear the technical details. How did humans turn planets into spaceships? What technology made it possible? Ben stood at the center of the room. A hologram projector waited beside him. He had spent weeks preparing this presentation. It would explain everything. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "I'm going to show you how to build a planet ship. But I warn you now, knowing how it works doesn't mean you can build one." The hologram activated. It showed a normal planet floating in space. Dead, rocky, about the size of Mars. "We start with a dead world," Ben explained. "It has to be dead. No life, no atmosphere, no value to anyone. We used planets that were already worthless." The hologram changed. Now it showed the planet with a massive hole drilled through its center. Step 1 is the hardest. We hollow out the planet. We remove about 60% of the rock and metal. We leave a shell that's still thick enough to protect the people inside. The Altarian representative raised his hand. How do you remove 60% of a planet? Matter conversion, Ben replied. We turn rock into energy and use that energy to power our tools. It takes 3 years to hollow out one planet. The room went quiet. Matter conversion on a planetary scale was theoretical for most species. Humans were doing it as a construction technique. Step 2, Ben continued, is building the core systems. The hologram showed the inside of the hollow planet. Massive engines filled the center. Power systems ran through the rock like veins. Life support equipment created artificial gravity. The engines use controlled black holes, Ben said. Each planet ship has 12 artificial black holes in its core. They provide the power and thrust needed to move a planet. Dr. Amy Carter looked pale. You're using black holes as engines? That's incredibly dangerous. It's the only way to move something this big, Ben replied. Normal engines can't push a planet, but controlled gravity can. The hologram showed how the black holes worked. They pulled the planet forward through space. The gravity fields were carefully controlled to prevent the ship from tearing itself apart. The math is complex, Ben admitted. We had to invent new physics to make it work. But once you understand gravity manipulation, moving planets becomes possible. Chief Engineer Carol Davis stood up. She was the Council's best engineer, but even. She looked confused. Ben, how do you control 12 black holes? One mistake and you destroy the entire ship. AI systems, Ben answered. We built artificial intelligence specifically to manage the black holes. Human brains can't calculate fast enough to keep them stable. The hologram showed the AI control systems. Thousands of quantum computers worked together to control the gravity fields. The computers made millions of calculations every second. The AI is smarter than we are, Ben said. We built it to solve problems we can't solve. It learned how to control planetary-scale gravity fields. The room erupted in discussion. Artificial intelligence was restricted by most species. Only humans used AI for major projects. Now they were using AI to control planet ships. What about weapons? Asked the Krelian war chief. The hologram changed again. Now it showed the planet's surface covered with massive weapon systems. Each planet ship has 1,000 main guns, Ben explained. They can destroy battleships with single shots. The point defense systems can stop missile attacks from entire fleets. The weapons were built into the planet's surface. They looked like mountains, but they were really gun barrels. Each one was the size of a skyscraper. The main weapon is different, Ben continued. It's called a planet cracker. It can split moons in half with one shot. The hologram showed the planet cracker firing. A beam of energy shot out from the planet ship and hit a small moon. The moon exploded into pieces. We tested it once, Ben said quietly. It worked better than we expected. The silence in the room was complete. A weapon that could destroy moons was beyond anything any species had built. What about defense? Asked the Zephyrian ambassador. The armor is 5 kilometers thick, Ben replied. It's made from materials that can stop antimatter weapons. The shields can deflect attacks that would destroy normal fleets. The hologram showed the planet ship's defensive systems. Energy fields covered the entire surface. Armor plates the size of cities protected the hull. We designed it to survive anything, Ben said. Even if you hit it with 100 battleships, it would keep fighting. Carol Davis looked sick. Ben, you've built something that can't be destroyed. How do you stop a planet ship if it turns hostile? You? Don't, Ben replied. That's why I left the project. We built 12 ships that are more powerful than entire space fleets. If humans ever decide to conquer the galaxy, nothing can stop them. The hologram showed all 12 planet ships together. They looked like a small solar system of artificial worlds. But here's the thing, Ben continued. Humans don't want to conquer the galaxy. They want to explore it. Each planet ship is designed to carry 50 million people to a new galaxy. They're not weapons of war. They're vehicles for exploration. Admiral Hayes stepped forward. What happens when they reach Andromeda? Do they colonize planets there? No, Ben said. They don't need to. Each planet ship is a complete world. They can travel between galaxies forever. They're not looking for homes. They are homes. The room went quiet again. The implications were staggering. Humans had created mobile civilizations. They could travel anywhere in the universe without needing to conquer planets. The technology changes everything, Ben concluded. Once you can move planets, you don't need to fight over them. You can explore the entire universe. As the presentation ended, Ben looked around the room. He saw fear in many faces. But he also saw something else. Wonder. The humans had solved the ultimate engineering problem. They had made worlds that could travel to the stars. 3 days later, Ben sat in his quarters on Council Station. He had told the galaxy's leaders everything he knew about planet ships. Now they had to decide what to do with the information. The truth was simple. Humans had become so advanced that other species couldn't compete. The planet ships were just the beginning. If humans could build those, they could build anything. Ben thought about his former colleagues still working on the project. They were good people. They wanted to explore the universe, not conquer it. But they had built machines that could do both. The galaxy was about to change forever. And Ben had just explained exactly how it would happen. The diplomatic ship Harmony approached the human planet ship slowly. Ambassador Frank Mitchell watched from the bridge as the massive world grew larger on the screen. Even knowing what to expect, the size still shocked him. New Earth Control. This is Ambassador Mitchell requesting permission to dock, Frank said into the communication system. Welcome, Ambassador, came the reply. We're sending a pilot ship to guide you in. A small human ship appeared beside the Harmony. It was tiny compared to the planet ship, but it moved with perfect precision. Frank followed it toward one of the massive docking bays. The docking bay was bigger than most space stations. Hundreds of ships could fit inside. The Harmony looked like a toy as it landed on the metal deck. Captain Helen Brooks met Frank at the airlock. She was a middle-aged woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She wore a simple uniform with no fancy decorations. Welcome to New Earth, she said, shaking Frank's hand. I'm Captain Brooks. I'll be your guide today. Frank looked around the docking bay. The ceiling was so high he could barely see it. Ships of all sizes filled the space. People walked around doing normal work, as if living inside a planet ship was perfectly normal. How many people live here? Frank asked. 52 million, Helen replied. We're slightly over capacity, but everyone has a place to live. Frank tried to imagine 52 million people living inside a single ship. It was more than the population of most planets. Would you like to see the city? Helen asked. They took a transport tube that moved through the planet ship at incredible speed. Frank watched through the windows as they passed through tunnels carved into the rock. The walls were covered with lights and screens showing information. The transport system can take you anywhere on New Earth in 20 minutes, Helen explained. We have cities, farms, factories, schools, hospitals. Everything you need for a complete civilization. The tube stopped at Central City. Frank stepped out and gasped. He was standing in a massive cavern carved into the planet's core. Buildings reached up toward the ceiling hundreds of kilometers above. Artificial sunlight made everything look like a normal city. "This is impossible," Frank whispered. "We thought so too," Helen said. "But our engineers don't believe in impossible. They just see problems that need solving." They walked through the city streets. People went about their daily lives. Children played in parks. Shops sold food and clothes. It looked like any normal city, except it was flying through space. "The artificial gravity is perfect," Frank noticed. "I can't tell we're moving." "The gravity generators are built into the planet's core," Helen explained. "They create Earth normal gravity throughout the ship. Most people forget we're in space." They visited a school where children learned about their new home. The teacher explained how the planet ship worked. The children asked questions about the engines and weapons with the same curiosity they might ask about flowers or animals. They're growing up thinking this is normal, Frank realized. "For them, it is," Helen said. "This is their world. When they're adults, they'll help build the next generation of planet ships." Next, they visited a factory that produced everything the ship needed. Massive machines turned raw materials into tools, food, and equipment. The factory could make anything from computer chips to spacesuits. "We're completely self-sufficient," Helen explained. "We don't need to buy anything from other worlds. We can produce everything we need." Frank was amazed. A normal space colony needed supplies from other planets. New Earth could support itself forever. "What about weapons?" Frank asked. "The Council is worried about your military capabilities." Helen's expression became serious. "I can show you, but it might be frightening." They took another transport tube to the surface. Frank found himself in a control room with windows looking out into space. The view was beautiful and terrifying. He could see the curve of the planet ship stretching away in all directions. "We're going to demonstrate our defensive systems," Helen said. "We'll use a small asteroid as a target." She spoke into a microphone. "Defense Control, this is Captain Brooks. Begin demonstration sequence." Through the windows, Frank watched as weapon systems activated across the planet's surface. Thousands of gun barrels emerged from hidden positions. Energy shields flickered to life. "Point defense systems active," reported a technician. "Target acquired." A small asteroid, about the size of a building, appeared on the screen. It was 1,000,000 kilometers away. "Fire," Helen ordered. The weapons fired all at once. Beams of energy shot out from the planet ship. The asteroid vanished in a flash of light. "Time to target destruction. 0.3 seconds, the technician reported. Frank stared at the empty space where the asteroid had been. The planet ship had destroyed a building-sized target from 1,000,000 kilometers away in less than a second. "That was our light defensive system," Helen said. "Would you like to see the main guns?" Frank nodded, though he wasn't sure he wanted to. Helen gave another order. The planet ship turned slowly in space. Frank felt nothing inside, but he could see the stars moving past the windows. They were aiming at something. "Target is a dead moon," Helen explained. "No life, no value. We use it for weapons testing." The main guns were different from the point defense systems. They were built into the planet's surface like mountains. When they fired, the entire planet ship shook slightly. A beam of energy shot out from New Earth. It was so bright that Frank had to close his eyes. When he opened them, the moon was gone. Not destroyed. Gone. Completely vaporized. "That's our planet cracker weapon," Helen said calmly. "It can destroy moons, large asteroids, or enemy fleets." Frank felt sick. He had just watched a moon die. The humans had built a weapon that could destroy entire worlds. "Why do you need such powerful weapons?" he asked. "We don't know what we'll find in Andromeda," Helen replied. "There might be hostile species there. We need to be able to defend ourselves." They returned to the city. Frank tried to process what he had seen. The humans had built a mobile world with weapons that could destroy anything, but they lived normal lives inside it. "How do you balance everyday life with such incredible power?" he asked. "We don't think about the power," Helen said. "We think about the people. This ship exists to carry 50 million humans to a new galaxy. The weapons are just tools to protect them." That evening, Frank attended a dinner with the ship's leaders. They were normal people. Engineers, doctors, teachers, farmers. They talked about their families and their hopes for the future. "We're not conquerors," said Chief Engineer Sam Turner. "We're explorers. We want to see what's out there." "But you've built the most powerful weapons in the galaxy," Frank pointed out. "We've built the most powerful ship in the galaxy," Sam corrected. "The weapons are just part of the package." As the dinner ended, Frank realized something important. The humans weren't trying to threaten anyone. They had simply solved the problem of interstellar colonization in the most complete way possible. They had built worlds that could travel to the stars. The next morning, Frank prepared to leave. Captain Brooks walked into his ship. "What will you tell the council?" she asked. Frank thought for a moment. "That you've changed everything. That the age of fighting over planets is ending. That the future belongs to species that can build their own worlds. And what do you think about that?" Helen asked. Frank looked back at New Earth. The massive planet ship hung in space like an artificial world. Inside, 50 million people lived. Their lives, preparing for a journey to another galaxy. "I think it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen," he said. "And I think the rest of the galaxy better get used to it." As his ship flew away from New Earth, Frank composed his report. The humans weren't just advanced. They had transcended the normal limits of space travel. They had become something new, and they were just getting started. 6 months after the diplomatic mission, the first human planet ship prepared to leave the galaxy. Admiral Tony Clark stood on the Bridge of Liberty, watching the final preparations. In 3 days, they would begin the journey to Andromeda. "All systems are ready," reported Chief Engineer Linda Murphy. "The engines are running perfectly. Life support is stable. We're ready to go." Tony nodded. He had spent 5 years preparing for this moment. Liberty would be the first planet ship to leave the Milky Way. 50 million humans would travel with him to a new galaxy. "Open a channel to the Galactic Council," Tony ordered. The main screen activated. The council chamber appeared, filled with representatives from every species in the galaxy. They had come to watch the humans leave. "Members of the Galactic Council," Tony began. "This is Admiral Clark of the planet ship Liberty. We're about to begin our journey to Andromeda. We want to thank you for your friendship and cooperation." Admiral Hayes spoke from the council chamber. "Admiral Clark, are you certain about this journey? Andromeda is 2.5 million light-years away. No one has ever traveled that far." "We're certain," Tony replied. "Our engines can make the trip in 35 years. We have everything we need to survive the journey." The truth was more complicated. The journey would take 35 years at maximum speed. But Liberty could travel for thousands of years if necessary. The planet ship was designed for eternal voyages. "What do you expect to find in Andromeda?" asked the Zephyrian ambassador. "New worlds, new species, new possibilities," Tony said. "We're going to explore a galaxy that has never been touched by anyone from the Milky Way." Dr. Amy Carter appeared on the screen. "Admiral, your planet ship changes everything about space travel. You've made it possible to carry entire civilizations between galaxies." "That's the idea," Tony agreed. "We're not just exploring space. We're expanding human civilization into the universe." The conversation ended. Tony looked around the bridge. His crew was ready. The 50 million people living on Liberty were ready. The journey to Andromeda would begin. "Engage engines," Tony ordered. The planet ship's massive engines activated. Liberty began to move, slowly at first, then faster. The artificial gravity kept everyone safe inside. Most people didn't even notice they were accelerating. On the surface, the defensive systems powered up. A journey to Andromeda would take Liberty through unknown space. They had to be ready for anything. 3 days later, Liberty passed the edge of the Milky Way galaxy. Tony watched on the screen as the galaxy's spiral arms fell behind them. Ahead lay the empty space between galaxies. "We're now in intergalactic space," reported Navigator Bill Watson. "No ship from our galaxy has ever been this far from home." Tony felt the weight of history. Liberty was making the longest journey any species had ever attempted. They were pioneers in the truest sense. Back in the Milky Way, the remaining 11 planet ships continued their construction. Each one would follow a different path to Andromeda. By the time all 12 ships arrived, humans would have 12. Complete worlds in the new galaxy dot. The Galactic Council watched Liberty disappear into the void between galaxies. The reality of what humans had achieved was finally sinking in. "They actually did it," whispered the Altarian delegate. "They built worlds that can travel between galaxies." Admiral Hayes stood before the council. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed the beginning of a new age. The humans have shown us that the universe is not limited by distance. If they can travel to Andromeda, they can travel anywhere." The implications were staggering. Other species had always been limited to their home galaxy. Humans had just proven that even galaxies were not barriers to exploration. On Liberty, life continued normally as the planet ship flew through the empty void. Children went to school. Adults worked at their jobs. Families lived their lives. The fact that they were traveling between galaxies seemed almost ordinary. Sam Turner, the chief engineer, worked in his laboratory designing the next generation of planet ships. The 12 ships heading to Andromeda were just the beginning. Sam was planning ships that could carry 1 billion people. Ships that could travel to the farthest reaches of the universe. "The technology keeps improving," Sam explained to his assistant, engineer Mary Collins. "Each new ship is bigger and better than the last. Soon we'll be able to build ships the size of gas giants." Mary looked at the plans on Sam's computer. The new designs were incredible. Planet ships so large they could hold entire ecosystems. Ships that could recreate the diversity of Earth itself. "How big can we go?" Mary asked. "There's no limit," Sam replied. "If we can build planets into ships, we can build anything. Stars, gas giants, even solar systems. The only limit is our imagination." Years passed. Liberty continued its journey to Andromeda. Regular reports came back to the Milky Way through quantum communication. The journey was going perfectly. The planet ship was performing better than expected. Meanwhile, the other 11 planet ships launched one by one. Each carried 50 million humans to different parts of Andromeda. Within 50 years, 600 million humans would be living in a new galaxy. The Galactic Council tried to understand what this meant for the future. Species that had been exploring space for thousands of years were suddenly primitive compared to humans. "They've made us obsolete," said the Krelian war chief during one council meeting. "We fight over planets. They build planets." "Not obsolete," corrected Dr. Amy Carter. "Different. We can learn from them. Maybe we can't build planet ships, but we can develop new technologies inspired by human engineering." Some species tried to copy human technology. The Altarians attempted to build their own planet ship. The project failed after 5 years. The engineering challenges were too complex. Only humans had the combination of skills, resources, and determination needed to build mobile worlds. 20 years after Liberty's departure, the first reports came back from Andromeda. The planet ship had arrived safely. They had found a galaxy full of wonders. New stars, new planets, new possibilities for exploration. Andromeda is everything we hoped, Admiral Clark reported. We've found solar systems with dozens of habitable planets. We've detected signs of life on multiple worlds. This galaxy is perfect for human expansion. The news excited humans throughout the Milky Way. More planet ships were planned. Soon there would be a steady stream of human worlds traveling between galaxies. But the most important news came from an unexpected source. Liberty had found something in Andromeda that no one expected. We've made contact with an alien species, Admiral Clark announced. They're called the Andromedans. They've been watching our galaxy for millions of years, but they've never seen anything like our planet ships. The Andromedans were an ancient species. They had evolved billions of years ago and spread throughout their galaxy. But even they had never built anything like a planet ship. They're amazed by our technology, Admiral Clark continued. They want to learn how we build mobile worlds. In return, they're sharing their knowledge of Andromeda with us. The partnership between humans and Andromedans opened new possibilities. The Andromedans had mapped every star system in their galaxy. They knew which worlds were habitable, which systems were dangerous, which areas were perfect for human colonies. We're not just exploring Andromeda, Admiral Clark reported. We're colonizing it. The Andromedans are helping us find the best locations for new human settlements. Back in the Milky Way, engineer Sam Turner worked on his most ambitious project yet. He was designing a planet ship that could carry 1 billion people. It would be the size of Jupiter, with cities built into its core and weapons that could defend entire star systems. We're entering a new phase of human development, Sam explained to a meeting of engineers. We're not just building ships anymore. We're building civilizations that can travel through the universe. The plans were incredible. The new planet ship would have its own artificial sun. It would carry complete ecosystems with millions of species of plants and animals. It would be a mobile Earth, capable of sustaining human civilization forever. When will it be finished? Asked engineer Mary Collins. 50 years, Sam replied. But it will be worth the wait. This ship will be able to travel to any galaxy in the universe. It will make humans truly cosmic. As the years passed, more reports came back from Andromeda. All 12 planet ships had arrived safely. 600 million humans were now living in the new galaxy. They had established colonies on dozens of worlds. They were thriving. The success in Andromeda inspired even more ambitious projects. Humans began planning expeditions to other galaxies, the Magellanic Clouds, the Triangulum Galaxy, even distant galaxy clusters that would take thousands of years to reach. The universe is our home now, Sam Turner said during a speech to the Galactic Council. We're not limited to one galaxy or even one galaxy cluster. We can travel anywhere in the universe. The alien species of the Milky Way watched in awe as humans transformed from a single planet species into a cosmic civilization. In less than a century, humans had gone from building small ships to building mobile worlds. They've shown us what's possible, Admiral Hayes said during his final speech as head of Galactic Intelligence. The humans have proven that the universe has no limits for species willing to dream big enough. As Hayes retired, he thought about the changes he had WI. Jake Morrison stood at the observation deck, watching the alien ships move through space like slow metal fish. The Zephyrians had been mining asteroids in their system for 30 years now. They had no idea that 50,000 humans lived right. Under their noses on the fourth planet, New Haven was completely hidden. The city stretched deep underground, carved into the rock over 200 years ago. Jake's great-great-grandfather had been on the original colony ship that crash-landed here. Back then, Earth thought they were all dead. The galaxy thought humans were extinct. Colonel Morrison, we have a problem, said Lisa Grant as she walked into the observation room. Lisa was their best scientist. She had been studying the aliens for 15 years. Her face looked worried. What is it, Lisa? Jake asked. He had been expecting bad news. The Zephyrians had been acting strange lately. More ships were coming to the system every week. They're planning to build a military base, Lisa said. She handed him a data tablet. I decoded their messages. They want to put a permanent station on the second planet. That's only 2 planets away from us. Jake felt his stomach drop. The second planet was too close. If the Zephyrians built a base, there they would start scanning the whole system. They would find New Haven within months. How long do we have? Jake asked. 6 months, maybe less, Lisa said. They're bringing construction ships next week. Jake looked back at the alien ships through the window. For 2 centuries, his people had stayed hidden. They watched. They learned. They studied every alien race that came to their system. But they never revealed themselves. The humans of New Haven were different from their ancestors on Earth. They had grown strong living in secret. They had built amazing technology by copying and improving alien designs. They had weapons the galaxy had never seen. They had ships that could not be detected. Call a meeting, Jake said. Get Ryan Ford and Amy Roberts. We need to discuss our options. 20 minutes later, Jake sat in the war room with his top officers. Ryan Ford was their military commander. He was a tough man who had trained every soldier in New Haven. Amy Roberts was their chief engineer. She had designed most of their advanced weapons. We can't stay hidden anymore, Jake said. If they build that base, they'll find us. We could move deeper underground, Amy suggested. Build new tunnels. That won't work, Ryan said. Military bases have deep scanners. They'll detect our power sources. So what do we do? Lisa asked. Ryan smiled. It was not a nice smile. We fight. Fight? Jake asked. Ryan, there are thousands of alien ships in this system. We only have 50 combat ships. But they don't know we exist, Ryan said. They don't know about our technology. We have been watching them for decades. We know their weaknesses. Amy nodded. Our ships are invisible to their scanners. Our weapons are more advanced than theirs. We could disable their entire fleet before they knew what hit them. That's impossible, Lisa said. Even if we could defeat them, more ships would come. The whole galaxy would come after us. Let them come, Ryan said. We're not the same humans who left Earth 300 years ago. We're stronger. We're smarter. We've learned from every alien race we've watched. Jake thought about this. New Haven had always been peaceful. They had never hurt anyone. They had just watched and learned. But now they had no choice. What exactly? Are you suggesting? Jake asked. Ryan stood up and walked to the big screen on the wall. He showed them a map of the star system. We take the whole system. All 12 planets. All 43 moons. We claim it as human territory. That's crazy, Lisa said. Is it? Ryan asked. Look at what we've built. Our ships are better than theirs. Our weapons are stronger. Our technology is more advanced. We've had 200 years to prepare. Amy was getting excited. We could do it. Our gravity weapons could trap their ships. Our pulse cannons could disable their systems without killing anyone. Without killing anyone? Jake asked. We're not monsters, Ryan said. We disable their ships. We capture their crews. We show them that humans are not to be messed with. Jake looked at his officers. These were good people. They had families. They had children. They had built a beautiful civilization underground. But if they did nothing, that civilization would be discovered and destroyed. The Zephyrians think. This system is empty, Amy said. All the alien races think this system is worthless. They have no idea what we've built here. If we're going to do this, we need to be smart about it, Jake said. We can't just attack randomly. We need a plan. Ryan nodded. I've been thinking about this for years. We start with the mining ships. We disable them quietly. Make it look like accidents. Then we work our way up to the bigger ships. And if they send help? Lisa asked. We'll be ready, Amy said. Our ships can appear and disappear like ghosts. We can hit them anywhere in the system. Jake stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see the lights of New Haven in the distance. 50,000 people lived here. They trusted him to keep them safe. If we do this, there's no going back, Jake said. The galaxy will know we exist. Everything changes. Everything's already changing, Ryan said. The question is whether we control that change or let it control us. Jake made his decision. Prepare the ships. We're going to show the galaxy that humans are back. Steve Parker checked his ship's systems one more time. Everything was working perfectly. The stealth field was active. The pulse cannons were charged. His ship was completely invisible to alien scanners. Blue team, this is Blue Leader, Steve said into his radio. Are you ready? Ready, Blue Leader, came the reply from his 5 team members. They were all flying small attack ships. Fast, quiet, and deadly. Steve looked at his target through the cockpit window. The Zephyrian mining ship was huge. It was 3 times bigger than his ship, but size didn't matter today. The aliens had no idea what was coming. Remember, Steve said to his team, we disable, not destroy. Hit the engines and the communication array. Leave the crew alive. Steve had trained for this mission for months. All the human pilots had. They knew exactly where to hit alien ships to stop them without killing anyone. The mining ship was pulling minerals from an asteroid. The aliens inside were working normally. They felt safe. They thought they were alone in the system. Blue team, attack, Steve said. The 6 human ships moved like hunting wolves. They appeared out of nowhere, fired their weapons, and disappeared. Again, the mining ship's engines went dead. Its communication system stopped working. The ship was helpless dot inside the mining ship. The Zephyrian crew was panicking. They had no idea what had hit them. Their scanners showed nothing. Their weapons couldn't lock on to any targets. That's 1 down, Steve said. Moving to target 2. Back. On New Haven, Amy Roberts watched the attack from the command center. Her gravity weapons were working perfectly. The disabled mining ship was now trapped in a gravity field. It couldn't move even if its engines worked. Excellent work, Blue team, Amy said. Red team, you're up. Red team was led by Kate Williams. She was attacking 3 cargo ships near the 5th planet. Her team moved just as smoothly as Steve's. Team, within minutes, 3 more alien ships were disabled and trapped. This is too easy, Kate said over the radio. The aliens have no idea how to fight invisible enemies. Amy smiled. The humans had been planning this for years. They had studied every alien ship design. They knew exactly where to hit to cause maximum damage with minimum harm to the crew. Don't get cocky, Amy warned. We have 20 more ships to disable today. The 3rd team was led by Danny Chun. He was a computer expert who had hacked into the alien communication networks. Danny could read all their messages. He knew where every ship was going. Green team, target the command ship, Danny said. It's trying to call for help. The command ship was the biggest Zephyrian vessel in the system. It had heavy weapons and strong shields. But it was still no match for human technology. Danny's team attacked the command ship from 6 directions at once. The aliens tried to fight back, but their weapons couldn't hit invisible targets. Within minutes, the command ship was dead in space. All communication systems are down, Danny reported. They can't call for help. Amy was impressed. In just 4 hours, the humans had disabled 15 alien ships. Not a single alien had been killed. The crews were all alive and unharmed. They were just very confused and scared. Phase 2 begins now. Amy announced Phase 2 was about sending a message. The humans wanted the aliens to know they were being attacked, but they didn't want them to know by whom Lavra Martinez was the fleet commander. She had been a pilot for 30 years. She knew how to make aliens scared without showing them human. Ships. Ghost Squadron, begin the fear protocol, Lavra said. Ghost Squadron was special. They had the newest stealth technology. They could become completely invisible, even to the most advanced scanners. They could also make strange noises and lights that scared aliens. The disabled alien ships suddenly found themselves surrounded by mysterious lights. Strange sounds came from empty space. The aliens could feel something watching them, but they couldn't see anything. "What's happening?" one Zephyrian captain asked over the radio. "I don't know," another captain replied. "There's something out there, but our scanners show nothing." The aliens were getting more scared every minute. They had never faced an enemy like this. An enemy that could attack without being seen. An enemy that could disable their ships without killing them. Kevin Brown was watching the aliens from his science station. He was studying their behavior. Kevin had spent years learning about alien psychology. He knew how to make them afraid. "They're starting to panic," Kevin reported. "Their stress levels are through the roof." "Good," Amy said. "Panic makes them make mistakes." The aliens were indeed making mistakes. They were firing their weapons at empty space. They were sending random messages. They were flying their ships in circles. "This is amazing," Steve said as he watched the aliens panic. "They have no idea what to do." "Stay focused," Amy warned. "We still have work to do." The next target was the asteroid mining station. It was a huge structure with 1,000 workers. The humans needed to capture it without hurting anyone. Helen Taylor was leading this mission. She was the colony's best negotiator. She knew how to talk to aliens without making them too scared. "Attention mining station," Helen said over the radio. "This is your final warning. Shut down your operations and prepare to be boarded." The aliens in the mining station were confused. They could hear the voice, but they couldn't see who was talking. "Who are you?" the station commander asked. "We are the guardians of this system," Helen replied. "You are trespassing in our territory." "Your territory?" "This system is empty. There's nobody here." "You are wrong," Helen said. "We have been watching you for 30 years. We know everything about you. Your names, your families, your fears." This was true. The humans had been recording everything. They knew more about the aliens than the aliens knew about themselves. "If you do not surrender," Helen continued, "we will disable your life support systems. You will have 10 minutes of air left." The aliens were terrified. They had never heard of these guardians. They had no idea who they were fighting. "We surrender," the station commander said. "Please don't hurt us." "You will not be harmed," Helen said, "but you will leave this system immediately." Amy watched as the humans took control of the mining station. It was the biggest structure in the system. Now it belonged to humanity. "Excellent work, everyone," Amy said. "We now control the entire inner system. But this is just the beginning." The aliens who escaped would tell others about the mysterious guardians. Soon, every alien race in the galaxy would know that something strange was happening in the Kepler 442 system. They would send ships to investigate, and when they did, the humans would be ready for them. The news spread through the galaxy like wildfire. A mining fleet had been attacked by invisible enemies. Ships had been disabled by unknown weapons. The Zephyrian survivors told crazy stories about ghost ships and mysterious voices. Admiral Lara Martinez watched the alien fleet's approach on her command screen. 3 different empires were sending their best ships to investigate. The Altarian Empire had sent 50 warships. The Centauri Federation had sent 30 cruisers. The Vegan Alliance had sent 20 battleships. "They're all coming to our system," Lovra said to her officers. "Just like we planned." Jake Morrison stood beside her. He was nervous, but excited. "Are you sure we can handle this many ships?" "We've been preparing for this moment for 200 years, Lavra said. "We know their weaknesses. We know how they think. We know how they fight." The first fleet to arrive was the Altarian Empire. Their ships were big and powerful. They had LASER cannons and energy shields. But they were also slow and predictable. "The Altarians are entering the system," reported Kate Williams from the communications center. "They're scanning for the mysterious attackers." "Let them scan," Lara said. "They won't find anything." The human ships were hidden all around the system. Some were behind asteroids. Others were hiding in the shadow of planets. All of them were invisible to alien scanners. Admiral Zektar was the Altarian commander. He had fought in many battles. He was confident that his 50 ships could handle any enemy. "Begin full system scan," Zektar ordered. "Find these mysterious attackers." The Altarian ships spread out across the system. They used their most powerful scanners. They looked behind every asteroid and every moon. They found nothing. "There's nobody here," reported Zektar's second officer. "The system appears empty." "That's impossible," Zektar said. "Something attacked the Zephyrian ships. Something must be here." Lovra smiled as she watched the aliens search. They were looking right at human ships, but couldn't see them. Human stealth technology was too advanced. "Begin Phase 1, Lovra ordered. The human ships began their attack. They appeared out of nowhere, fired their weapons, and disappeared again. The Altarian ships were hit by weapons they had never seen before. "We're under attack," Zektar shouted. All ships returned fire. The Altarian ships fired their weapons. At empty space, they couldn't see their enemies. They couldn't hit what they couldn't see. "Sir, our weapons are offline," reported one ship captain. "Our engines are dead." "Same here," said another captain. "We're sitting ducks." Within an hour, all 50 Altarian ships were disabled. Not a single alien had been killed, but their ships were powerless. They were trapped by human gravity fields. "This is Admiral Zektar." "To all ships," the alien commander said. "We are being attacked by an unknown enemy. Request immediate backup." But his message never reached the outside galaxy. Danny Chun had jammed all their communications. "The Altarians are neutralized," Lavra reported. "Here comes the second fleet." The Centauri Federation ships arrived 2 days later. They had heard about the Altarian disaster. They came prepared for a fight. "This is Admiral Krelinon of the Centauri Federation," the alien commander announced. "We demand to know what happened to the Altarian fleet." "Nothing happened to them," Laura replied. "Over the radio. They are alive and well, but they are now our guests." "Your guests? Who are you?" "We are the guardians of this system," Lavra said. "You are trespassing in our territory." Admiral Krelinon was angry. "This system belongs to the galactic community. No one has the right to claim it." "We have every right," Lavra said. "We have lived here for 200 years. This is our home." The Centauri ships began to attack. They had learned from the Altarian mistake. They fired their weapons in all directions, hoping to hit the invisible enemies. But the human ships were too fast and too smart. They attacked from above and below. They hit the Centauri ships from angles the aliens never expected. Amy Roberts was leading the technical assault. Her gravity weapons were working perfectly. One by one, the Centauri ships were trapped in gravity fields. Their weapons are useless, Amy reported. They can't adapt to our technology. Kevin Brown was studying the alien behavior from his science station. They're using the same tactics they've used for centuries. They never learned to fight. Invisible enemies. That's because they never had to, Jake said. The galaxy has been peaceful for too long. They've forgotten how to really fight. The Centauri ships were disabled just as easily as the Altarian ships. Admiral Krellinon was furious but helpless. This is impossible, he said. No one can defeat 30 Federation cruisers this easily. We just did, Laura replied, and we're not finished yet. The Third Fleet was the Vegan Alliance. They arrived a week later with 20 of their most powerful battleships. These ships were bigger and stronger than anything the galaxy had ever seen. The vegans are here, reported Steve Parker from his scout ship. These ships are different. They have better shields and stronger weapons. It doesn't matter, Lara sighed. Bigger ships just make bigger targets. The vegan commander was Admiral Trung. He was famous throughout the galaxy for never losing a battle. He had studied the reports from the other fleets. We know you're out there, the Adjurang announced. We've learned from the mistakes of the others. We're ready for you. The vegan ships formed a defensive circle. They kept their shields at maximum power. They were ready for attacks from any direction. They're being smart, Amy observed. This might be more challenging. Good, Lara said. I was getting bored. The human ships attacked the vegan fleet from all sides at once. But the vegan shields were stronger than expected. The first wave of attacks didn't disable the ships. They're adapting, reported Ryan Ford from his battle station. Their shields are absorbing our pulse weapons. Then we'll try something different. Lavra said, Amy, activate the ion weapons. The ion weapons were new. Amy had just finished building them. They could pass through any shield and disable a ship's computer systems. The second wave of attacks was devastating. The vegan ships found their computers shutting down. Their weapons stopped working. Their shields collapsed. What's happening? Admiral Trung asked his crew. All systems are failing, his technical officer reported. It's like something is eating our computers. Within minutes, the mighty vegan fleet was floating helplessly in space. Their ships were dead. Their weapons were silent. Their shields were gone. This is Admiral Trung to the unknown attackers, the alien commander said. We surrender. What do you want? We want you to leave, Lara replied. All of you. This system is now under human protection. Human? Trang asked. Did you say human? Yes, Lavra said. We are humans. We have claimed this system as our territory. The word spread through all the disabled ships. Humans, the extinct race. The species that had disappeared from the galaxy 300 years ago. Impossible, Admiral Zektar said. Humans are extinct. Earth was destroyed. Earth was destroyed. Lavra confirmed, but we survived. We have been hiding here for 200 years. We have been watching. We have been learning. We have been preparing. The alien commanders were shocked. They had never heard of humans surviving. They thought the species was gone forever. We have been studying all of you, Lavra continued. We know your strengths and weaknesses. We know your fears and desires. We know everything about you. What do you want from us? Asked Admiral Krellinon. We want recognition, Lavra said. We want the galaxy to know that humans are back. We want our place among the stars. The 3 alien fleets were helpless. Over 100 ships had been disabled by an enemy they couldn't see or fight. Their crews were alive, but their ships were powerless. The galaxy will never accept this. Admiral Trang said, they will send bigger fleets. They will send everything they have. Let them come, Lara said. We'll be ready. Jake Morrison looked at the disabled alien ships on his screen. Phase 1 was complete. The galaxy now knew that humans existed. Soon, every species in known space would be talking about the mysterious. Humans who had captured an entire star system. What happens now? Jake asked. Now we prepare for the real war, Lavra said. Because this was just the beginning. The Galactic Council was in chaos. Representatives from 100 different species were shouting at each other. The mysterious humans had captured over 100 ships from 3 different empires. No one knew what to do. We must send the combined fleet, said Chancellor Veltar of the Altarian Empire. Every ship in the galaxy. We cannot let these humans keep our territory. What if they defeat the combined fleet too? Asked President Morden of the Centauri Federation. We've already lost our best ships. Then we negotiate, said Supreme Leader Quintal of the Vegan Alliance. These humans are clearly more advanced than we thought. Jake Morrison watched the Galactic Council meeting from his command center. Danny Chun had hacked into their communication. Networks months ago. The humans could hear everything the aliens were saying. They're scared, Jake said to his officers. They don't know how to fight us. Good, said Lavra Martinez. Fear makes them make mistakes. But Jake was thinking about something bigger. The humans had proven they could fight. Now they needed to prove they could lead. I want to address the Galactic Council, Jake said. Sir? Lavra asked. Are you sure that's wise? It's time, Jake said. We've hidden long enough. The galaxy needs to know who we are and what we want. Helen Taylor was setting up the communication system. She was the colony's best diplomat. She knew how to talk to aliens without making them too angry. The signal is ready, Helen said. We can broadcast to every ship and every planet in the galaxy. Do it, Jake said. The broadcast began. Every alien in the galaxy suddenly saw a human face on their screens. Most of them had never seen a human before. They thought humans were extinct. People of the galaxy, Jake said. My name is Jake Morrison. I am the leader of the human colony of New Haven. We have been living in the Kepler 442 system for 200 years. The Galactic Council was stunned. They had never expected to see a human again. We know you think we are extinct, Jake continued. You are wrong. We have been watching you. We have been learning from you. We have been preparing for this moment. Chancellor Veltar stood up in the council chamber. This is impossible. Humans died out 300 years ago. Earth was destroyed. Earth was destroyed, Jake agreed. But we survived. One colony ship escaped. We found a new home in the Kepler 442 system. We have been living there ever since. If you've been there for 200 years, President Morgan asked, why reveal yourselves now? Because you threatened our home, Jake said. The Zephyrians wanted to build a military base in our system. We could not allow that, so you attacked our ships. Supreme Leader Quintal asked. We defended our territory, Jake replied. We captured your ships without killing anyone. We could have destroyed them all. We chose not to. Lisa Grant stepped forward. She had prepared a special presentation for the galaxy. She had evidence that would shock everyone. We have been watching you for 200 years, Lisa said. We have recorded everything. We know about your corruption. We know about your slavery. We know about your wars. Images appeared on the screens. The aliens saw pictures of their own crimes, secret slave markets, hidden weapons factories, brutal suppression of weaker species. We know about the Rigel massacre, Lisa continued. We know about the Centauri slave rings. We know about the vegan death camps. The council chamber was silent. These were secrets that each empire thought were hidden. You call yourselves civilized, Jake said, but you are not. You have grown soft and cruel. You have forgotten what it means to be strong. What do you want? Chancellor Veltar asked. We want recognition, Jake said. We want the galaxy to acknowledge that humans are back. We want sovereignty over our territory. Your territory? President Morden asked. You mean the Kepler 442 system? We mean the Kepler 442 system and the 3 systems around it, Jake said. We claim them as human space. The aliens were shocked. 4 entire star systems. That was more territory than most empires controlled. That's impossible, Supreme Leader Quintal said. You can't claim 4 systems with 1 hidden colony. We can, Jake said. And we will. Ryan Ford stepped forward. He was ready to prove human military superiority once and for all. You want to test us? Ryan asked. Send your combined fleet. Send every ship you have. We'll show you what real power looks like. The aliens were terrified. They had already lost over 100 ships. They couldn't afford to lose more. We don't want war, Chancellor Veltar said. We want peace. Then recognize our territory. Jake said, accept that humans are back. Accept that we are equals. Equals? President Morden laughed. You have 1 colony. We have billions of citizens across thousands of worlds. Numbers don't matter, Jake said. What matters is strength. What matters is will. What matters is the ability to survive. Amy Roberts activated the demonstration. Human ships appeared all around the galaxy. They showed up near alien homeworlds. They appeared in the middle of alien fleets. They were everywhere. These are just our scout ships, Amy announced. We have been watching you from inside your own territory. We know the location of every military base, every weapons factory, every government building. The aliens were terrified. Human ships were everywhere. They had been living with invisible enemies for years without knowing it. We could have destroyed you at any time, Jake said. We chose not to. We are not conquerors. We are protectors. Protectors of what? Chancellor Veltar asked. Protectors of civilization, Jake replied. Real civilization, not the corrupt system you have built. Kevin Brown presented the next part of the plan. He had studied every alien species in the galaxy. He knew their weaknesses and their strengths. Your empires are dying, Kevin said. Your birth rates are falling. Your people are lazy and weak. Your technology has not improved in centuries. This was true. The galaxy had been at peace for so long that most species had stopped advancing. They had become comfortable and soft. You need us, Jake said. You need our strength. You need our innovation. You need our will to survive. What are you offering? Supreme Leader Quintal asked. Partnership, Jake said. We will share our technology. We will help you become strong again. We will protect you from external threats. External threats? President Morden asked. What external threats? The Andromeda Galaxy, Jake said. Our long-range scanners have detected ships approaching from outside our galaxy. They will be here in 50 years. This was news to the aliens. They had never detected any external threats. Their scanners were not as advanced as human technology. We don't know who they are, Jake continued, but they are coming. And when they arrive, you will need strong allies. The Galactic Council was quiet. They were thinking about what Jake had said. External threats, declining empires, the need for strong allies. If we accept your claims, Chancellor Veltar said, what guarantees do we have? You have our word. Jake said, humans keep their promises. We will protect the galaxy from external threats. We will help you become strong again. We will share our technology. And in return, President Morden asked. In return, you recognize our sovereignty, Jake said. You accept that we control 4 star systems. You accept that we are equals in the galactic community. Ryan Ford was preparing for the final demonstration. He had gathered the human fleet at the edge of the system. It was time to show the galaxy what human ships could really do. "If you need more proof of our power," Ryan said, "watch this." The human fleet appeared on every screen in the galaxy. 1,000 ships materialized out of nowhere. They were sleek and powerful. They were clearly more advanced than any alien. "Vessel, this is just our local defense fleet," Ryan announced. "We have others, many others." The aliens were stunned. They had thought humans only had a few dozen ships. Now they were seeing 1,000 vessels that were clearly superior to their own. "We don't want to use these ships against you," Jake said. "We want to use them to protect you, to protect all of us." The Galactic Council was convinced. They had seen human technology. They had seen human military power. They had seen human intelligence networks. "We will consider your proposal," Chancellor Veltar said. "You have 1 week to decide," Jake said. "After that, we will assume you have rejected our offer." "And if we reject it?" Supreme Leader Quintal asked. "Then we will take what we need," Jake said. "We will protect ourselves. The galaxy will have to face the external threat alone." The broadcast ended. The galaxy was in shock. Humans were back. They were powerful. They were offering partnership or promising independence. Jake looked at his officers. "Now we wait. Do you think they'll accept?" Helen asked. "They have no choice," Jake said. "They know we're stronger. They know we're smarter. They know they need us." The next week would determine the future of the galaxy. Would the aliens accept humans as equals? Or would they try to fight a war they could not win? Jake Morrison was ready for either outcome. Humans were back among the stars. And this time, they would never hide again. The Galactic Council met for 7 straight days. Representatives from every major species argued about the human proposal. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to negotiate. All of them were scared. Jake Morrison waited patiently in his command center. He watched the aliens debate through their hacked communication channels. He knew they would make the right choice eventually. "They're going to accept," Helen Taylor said. She had been studying the alien discussions. "The smart ones know. They can't win a war against us." "What about the dumb ones?" Amy Roberts asked. "They'll learn," Jake said, "one way or another." On the 7th day, the Galactic Council reached a decision. Chancellor Veltar stood up to make the announcement. After careful consideration, Veltar sighed, "The Galactic Council has decided to accept the human proposal. We recognize human sovereignty over the Kepler 442 system and the 3 adjacent systems." Jake smiled. It was the first time he had smiled in weeks. "Send our response," he told Helen. "People of the galaxy," Helen said in her broadcast, "we are pleased to accept your decision. Humans are officially back in galactic society. We look forward to working with you." But Jake knew the real work was just beginning. The aliens had accepted human sovereignty, but they still didn't trust humans. They still didn't understand human strength. "We need to show them what we can do," Jake said to his officers. "We need to prove that we can help them." Lisa Grant had prepared a demonstration of human science. She had new technologies that would amaze the galaxy. "We're ready to share our medical technology," Lisa announced. "We can cure diseases that have plagued your species for centuries." The aliens were interested. Human medical technology was clearly more advanced than their own. "We can also share our agricultural technology," Lisa continued. "We can help you grow more food with less land. We can help you feed your people." This was even more interesting. Many alien worlds were facing food shortages. Human technology could solve their problems. "And we can share our energy technology," Lisa said. "We can help you build power systems that are cleaner and more efficient than anything you have." The Galactic Council was impressed. They had expected humans to be warriors. They didn't expect them to be scientists and healers too. "What do you want in return?" President Morden asked. "Cooperation," Jake said. "We want to work together. We want to learn from each other. We want to prepare for the threats that are coming." The external threat from Andromeda was real. Human. Long-range scanners had detected massive ships approaching from outside the galaxy. They would arrive in 50 years. "We need to build a defense fleet," Jake explained. "Ships that can protect the entire galaxy. Ships that use the best technology from all our species." Supreme Leader Quintal was interested. "You would share your military technology?" "Some of it," Ryan Ford said. "We'll share defensive technology. Shields, sensors, communication systems. But weapons technology stays with us." The aliens understood. Humans were willing to help, but they weren't stupid. They would keep their military advantages. "We also want to establish trade relationships." Amy Roberts said, "We have resources you need." "You have resources we need." The Kepler 442 system was rich in rare minerals. The humans had been mining them for 200 years. They had stockpiles of materials that were valuable throughout the galaxy. "We're willing to trade," Chancellor Veltar said. "But we want fair prices." "You'll get fair prices," Amy promised. "We're not interested in cheating anyone. We want long-term partnerships." Kevin Brown presented the next part of the human plan. He had been studying galactic society for years. He knew how to make it stronger. "Your empires need reform," Kevin said. "You've become too comfortable. Too soft. You need to become strong again." "What kind of reform?" President Morden asked. "Military reform," Kevin said. "Your soldiers are weak. Your officers are lazy. Your equipment is outdated." This was true. Most alien military forces hadn't seen real combat in centuries. They had forgotten how to fight. "We can help you train." "Your people?" Ryan Ford offered. "We can teach them how to be real soldiers." "What about political reform?" Chancellor Veltar asked. "That's up to you," Jake said. "We won't interfere in your internal politics, but we won't work with corrupt leaders either." The aliens understood the message. If they wanted human cooperation, they needed to clean up their governments. Danny Chun activated the new communication network. Human technology could connect every world in the galaxy instantly. No more waiting weeks for messages to cross space. "This network is a gift," Danny said. "It will help you coordinate your efforts. It will help you work together." The aliens were amazed. The communication network was more advanced than anything they had imagined. They could talk to anyone, anywhere, instantly. "How is this possible?" "Ask the Centauri technical advisor." "Human engineering," Danny said proudly. "We've had 200 years to perfect it." Lavra Martinez was setting up the new defense command. Human ships would patrol the galaxy, watching for threats. They would work with alien forces when necessary. "We're not taking over your military," Lavra explained. "We're supplementing it. We're making it stronger." The alien admirals were nervous. They didn't like the idea of human ships in their territory. "You don't have a choice," Lavra said bluntly. "Your ships can't handle the threats that are coming. Ours can." Steve Parker was leading the first joint patrol. His human ships were working with alien vessels for the first time. It was not going smoothly. "The aliens are too slow," Steve reported. "Their ships can't keep up with ours." "Be patient," Lavra advised. "They're learning." Kate Williams was establishing diplomatic relations with individual species. Some aliens were more cooperative than others. "The Regellians are eager to work with us," Kate reported. "They want our medical technology." "What about the Centaurians?" Jake asked. "They're suspicious," Kate said. "They think we're trying to take over." "Give them time," Jake said. They'll come around. The first year of human-alien cooperation was difficult. The aliens weren't used to human efficiency. The humans weren't used to alien bureaucracy. But slowly, things began to improve. Human medical technology saved millions of alien lives. Human agricultural technology ended food shortages on dozens of worlds. Human energy technology powered alien cities more efficiently than ever before. The galaxy is getting stronger, Lisa reported. Disease rates are down. Food production is up. Energy costs are falling. More importantly, the alien military forces were improving. Human training programs were turning soft alien soldiers into real warriors. The Altarian forces have improved by 400%, Ryan reported. They're actually competent now. What about the vegans? Jake asked. Still working on them, Ryan said. But they're getting better. A communication network was bringing the galaxy together. Species that had never cooperated before were now working on joint projects. The Centaurians and Regelians are building a joint research station, Danny reported. They couldn't even talk to each other a year ago. But the real test was coming. The external threat from Andromeda was getting closer. Human long-range scanners were detecting more ships every month. They'll be here in 49 years, Kevin reported. And there are a lot of them. How many? Jake asked. Thousands, Kevin said. Maybe tens of thousands. Their technology appears to be similar to ours. This was concerning. If the external aliens had technology similar to humans, the galaxy would need every advantage it could get. We need to accelerate our programs, Jake decided. We need to make the galaxy stronger, faster. The aliens are already complaining about the pace, Helen said. They think we're pushing too hard. They'll thank us when the invasion comes. Jake said Amy Roberts was working on new ship designs. She was combining human technology with the best alien innovations. The result was ships that were better than anything either species could build alone. The prototype is ready, Amy announced. It's faster than our ships and stronger than their ships. How many can we build? Lover asked. With full galactic cooperation, we could have 1,000 ships ready in 20 years, Amy said. That's not enough, Jake said. We need 10,000 ships, maybe more. Then we need more cooperation, Amy said. We need every species working together. This was the challenge. Getting hundreds of different alien species to work together was almost impossible. They had different cultures, different languages, different ways of thinking. We're making progress, Helen reported. The major empires are cooperating. The smaller species are following their lead. It's not fast enough, Jake said. We need to do something dramatic. Jake decided to reveal more human capabilities. He had been keeping some technologies secret, waiting for the right moment. Show them the shipyards. Jake told Amy. Amy activated the hidden shipyards around New Haven. Massive construction facilities appeared on alien scanners. They had been building ships for decades. We currently have 5,000 ships, Amy announced to the Galactic Council. We can build 1,000 more every year. The aliens were stunned. They had thought humans only had a few hundred ships. Now they learned that humans had the largest fleet in the galaxy. Why didn't you tell us this before? Chancellor Veltar asked. Because you weren't ready, Jake said. Now you are. The revelation changed everything. The aliens realized that humans were not just partners. They were protectors. They were the